In 1 Kings chapter 1, we find that King David is old and advanced in years. Jehovah had designated his son Solomon to be the next king, a fact that was well known. Despite this, David's fourth son, Adoni'jah, was exalting himself and trying to rally others to support him as the next king after David's death. 1 Kings 1 verses 9 and 10 states, "Eventually Adonijah held a sacrifice of sheep, cattle, and fattened animals by the stone of Zoheleth, which is near Enrogel. And he invited all his brothers, the king's sons, and all the men of Judah, the king's servants. But he did not invite Nathan the prophet, Benaiah and the mighty warriors, or Solomon his brother." These verses mention two locations. Enrogel was one of two underground springs from which the residents of Jerusalem would get water. It was located a short distance south of Jerusalem, approximately here. Somewhere nearby, there was apparently a prominent stone, or a rocky outcropping named Zoheleth. This well-known landmark may have served as a convenient meeting place. It was in this location that Adonijah held his banquet with those who supported his bid for the kingship. This brazen act was rightly viewed as an attempted coup by those loyal to David. Nathan the prophet immediately takes action. He sends Bathsheba in to see the king in his palace, which was likely located here, at the north end of the city of David. Nathan follows after Bathsheba and verifies her story. David takes immediate action. In verse 33, he tells them, "Take with you the servants of your Lord, and have my son Solomon ride on my own mule, and lead him down to Gihon." Gihon was the second underground spring that provided water for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Its fountainhead was located in a natural cave in the hillside below the city's east wall, approximately here. This spring provided drinking water for most of the city, and it may also have been used to irrigate the land below, which was likely used for agriculture. So it is reasonable to conclude that a significant number of people would be in the vicinity to see Solomon riding the king's mule down to Gihon. Verses 39 and 40 tell us what happened next. Zadok the priest now took the horn of oil and anointed Solomon, and they began to blow the horn, and all the people began shouting, "Long live King Solomon!" After that, all the people followed him and went up, playing flutes and rejoicing greatly, so that the earth was split open by their noise. This noisy procession made its way back to David's palace, where Solomon sat on the royal throne and was proclaimed as the new king. But what about Adonijah and his co-conspirators? The distance from Gihon to Enrogel and the stone of Zoheleth was only about 700 meters or 2,300 feet. Verse 41 says that the rebels heard the sound of the horn and the noisy uproar in the city. Moments later, a messenger delivered the sobering news that David himself had just proclaimed Solomon as the new king. Not surprisingly, verse 49 states that all those invited by Adonijah became terrified, and each of them rose up and went his own way.